For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The death toll in Maui has risen to 106 as officials began identifying the dead, the first 5 bodies. Officials are still asking for people to provide DNA samples to help identify remains of those burned. The main road into Lahaina was opened last night, allowing residents to return to their homes. The State Department of Health is urging caution for those returning, warning ash may contain toxic and cancer-causing chemicals, including asbestos, arsenic, and lead, and exposed electrical wires. Reports that land speculators are already seeking to purchase property have sparked action by Maui Governor Josh Green.
So I've actually reached out to our Attorney General to explore options to do a moratorium on any sales of properties that have been damaged or destroyed. Moreover, I would caution people that it's going to be a very long time before any growth or housing can be built. And so you will be pretty poorly informed if you try to steal land from our people and then build here.
Meanwhile, a Lahaina resident has shared video he took indicating the wildfire was sparked by a faulty power line.
Oh, this is live right across the street from my house. Freaking power line just went down. Started from up the road there. And all of that is still burning.
Shane True shared 3 videos on social media.
I hear a pop coming from across the street. As soon as I hear the pop, all I heard is like electrical, like zzz, going on the ground there. Look, there's the power line right there.
They were posted minutes after authorities say they received the first report of fire. Hawaii Electric Company faces criticism for not shutting off the power amidst high wind warnings and keeping it on even as dozens of poles began to topple. A class action lawsuit has already been filed seeking to hold the company responsible. Its president and CEO Sheila Kimura noted at a news conference Monday, many factors go into that decision, including the impacts on people who rely on specialized medical equipment and firefighters who need power to pump water. Donald Trump and his supporters are pushing back after a Georgia district attorney filed a 41-count indictment against him and 18 of his allies for their alleged role in attempting to subvert the 2020 election results in Fulton County, Georgia. Trump called it a witch hunt as he seeks to reclaim the White House for the Republican Party. His campaign this morning shared a poll citing 60% of Republicans are supporting him, rejecting any notion the 4th indictment is having an impact on the party's preference. David Weinstein, a former federal prosecutor, says it's an ambitious goal for Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to try 19 people in a trial within the next 6 months.
I think it's ambitious for the prosecutor to think that a 19 co-defendant case is going to go to trial within the next 6 months. We haven't seen yet the volumes of evidence that she's going to have to provide to all of these people, interlocking statements that are made by certain of the co-defendants.
Trump's campaign released a new ad of Trump attacking President Joe Biden, who's running for re-election. Trump goes after the Biden family for receiving some $20 million from foreign companies and business interests, while ignoring the wealth his own family has received, including the $2 billion Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, received from Saudi Arabia alone. As the Taliban celebrates the anniversary of its 2-year rule of Afghanistan, the United Nations Special Envoy of Global Education blasted the Taliban's repression of women and girls. Gordon Brown called it gender discrimination and urged world governments to ramp up sanctions against the Taliban.
The denial of education to Afghan girls and employment to Afghan women is gender discrimination, which should count as a crime against humanity, and it should be prosecuted by the International Criminal Court. And so today, the international community must step up its efforts to restore the freedom of girls to go to school, women to university, to work, to walk in public places, and to enjoy basic liberties, and end what many have called gender apartheid against girls and women.
The ban was the first in a flurry of restrictions to keep Afghan girls and women from classrooms, most jobs, and much of public life. The Taliban seized power in 2021 as the U.S. and NATO forces withdrew after 2 decades of war there. Global aid groups have criticized sanctions as having dire impacts on the innocent people of Afghanistan, limiting resources and putting millions on the brink of hunger. Officials say Russia has resumed its targeting of grain infrastructure in Ukraine Ukraine's southern Odessa region using drones and overnight strikes on storage facilities and ports along the Danube River. Kiev has increasingly used those terminals for grain transport to Europe after Moscow broke off a key wartime export deal through the Black Sea. North Korea says the U.S. soldier who defected into the country from South Korea, Private Travis King, did so after becoming disillusioned with inequality in the U.S. and racial discrimination in the Army. The state media report today was the first word on North Korea's detention of King. It said North Korea's investigation into King's illegal entry would continue. The U.S. and others have accused North Korea of using past detainees to arrest. The soldier's family said his mother's appealing to North Korea to treat her son humanely. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.